I present to you 3 tactical exercises for the advanced version of 4 in a row. As always, you can stop the video, think about the solution and compare it to the end of the video. The first task is an easy one, it's blue to move. Let's go to the second one. Now it's blue to move again, and you should check whether you find a winning continuation. And finally, a task between medium and hard, that's the third one. It's blue to move. Here I advise you to analyze it in your mind or over the board, and then come up with a winning continuation for blue. Let's check the solutions. So in the first case, the winning move is pretty easy. It's by placing a counter on e5. We do it by moving it via the 5 line. And then we have 4 in a row and we win the game. So the interesting part about this game is that the very last move of red enabled blue to win the game by placing his own counter on d5. So before red's move it was like this, and blue had no option to win the game, and red lost himself the game. In the second part there is a good and a bad continuation. If you thought about placing something on a 3, that looks interesting on the first perspective, but it obviously loses the game because now it enables red to win the game. Instead, the solution is has also an interesting twist. By placing a counter on g3, red has to defend by placing counter on g4. Otherwise, well, he is losing right away. And now, because there is something on g4, we can win the game by moving through the 4 line, placing a blue piece on h4 and having 4 in a row. Without this g4 square, we would have pushed through it and couldn't stop on h4, but red has no other options, otherwise we win the game. Also, he cannot win the game himself because there's nothing that he can place on f4, since if he starts or any line, the piece has to fall through. Now there is the final exercise, and here actually that's the same game from the same students of the exercise 2. I just flipped the board, and the student with blue actually found the solution, or maybe he just came up with it over the board, but the continuation is as following. He started by placing it on b2. Now red has to react, so he placed himself on a2. Now it's blue to move, and we continue with placing it on b3. Again, red has to react, otherwise he's losing, so he goes to b4. Actually, blue could have also started with d1, it doesn't matter. But now we can place a piece on d1 coming from the bottom. And doing this, we have a double threat, by placing it on c1 or on a4. Red cannot win by himself, and he cannot prevent one of these two options, and therefore blue is winning. And especially on this last example, you can see that the game can become really complicated and hard. You need to calculate it a few moves in advance, and therefore it's also a tricky game even to play for adults. So have fun, enjoy it, and build your own tactical exercises.